Monday morning started with hundreds gathering outside the court in Omdurman, Sudan's largest city, eagerly following what was happening behind the heavily guarded walls. Some demanded the death penalty for the 41 National Security Service officers. They were charged with the manslaughter of Ahmed al-Khair, a school teacher in the eastern state of Kassala. In court, the judge brought the more than 12 weeks of trial to an end.
The defendants are facing charges of manslaughter, which falls under Article 130, which carries a death penalty. The first defendant to the 27th will all receive the death penalty. The 31st and 33rd are also sentenced to death. Defendants 29 and 30 are cleared of charges, while the rest are sentenced to jail.
The verdict was welcomed by Ahmed al-Khair's family. His torture and death in custody provoked anger in schools all over Sudan, and a wave of protests demanding the end of the 30-year rule of President Omar al-Bashir. He was eventually deposed in April, following months of unrest. It was initially sparked by rising food prices and grew into a wider revolt demanding radical change. Bashir has been charged with inciting and participating in the killing of protesters.
We consider this case to be a turning point in Sudan's history. Many institutions in the past, both the judicial and security, used to cover up the crimes committed by security forces. This is the first time we have security forces put on trial for torture. It's the first ever we've had a verdict on a large number of those involved in the crime. The security forces and intelligence services used to be a fortified bastion that were untouchable.
After what seemed like a long wait, the verdict was greeted with celebrations.
Since the formation of a transitional government, the demand to bring to account those involved in killing protesters over the past year has been driving demonstrations. For many, Monday's verdict is only the start of the response for those calls, a response they say must include more trials of the accused to bring justice to other victims.
Activists say at least 250 protesters have been killed since the start of the revolution 12 months ago. Sudan's Prime Minister has set up a committee to investigate the deaths, including MANAL Farah's son Salah.
We welcome the verdict today, but we're also waiting for the trials for those who killed my son. We've filed a complaint and we've brought forward witnesses, but we haven't heard of any trial yet. We'll be following that up until we bring justice for my son and others who were killed, or we will die fighting for that justice.
Sudanese are celebrating what they say is the first victory, and are vowing to continue to safeguard their revolution until all crimes are accounted for. Hiba, Al Jazeera, Omdurman.